High FM, 101.9 megahertz of life.
As promised, I have an incredible team of people in a studio. But I wanted to start with Yifat. Yifat is the delegation manager. She is a director of global programs at Israel IS. Yifat, a very good morning and welcome back. You've been here before, have you not?
That's true, yeah. About a year and a half ago, I was actually on your show as well.
I remember.
We had such an amazing experience. We had to come again.
Good.
This time with different speakers.
Well, we'll see how they are.
People.
You know what? We never know. We never know.
You'll see.
Okay, so tell me about the inspiration behind this particular delegation to South Africa.
Sure. So a quick word about Israel is just a reminder. We're an NGO that aims to share Israel's story by its people. Mostly by its young people, diverse, young, amazing Israelis that share their personal stories around the world. And we really believe in the power of personal storytelling. We're not like a classic hasbara organization, which is also very important, but we don't come to debate. We come to share. We come to create a dialogue, to build these bridges and try to create understanding towards Israel. And that's why we travel the world, many different communities. We encourage young Jews around the world, young non-Jews that are supporting Israel to speak up, to really make the most out of these conversations, out of these encounters, and understand the opportunity that we have and that we must do. We must not be silent.
Absolutely right. And as you say, the personal perspective, personal stories, I think are probably the most powerful tools that we have. And very often what I find we do in the Israel media space is we counter with facts, but what we are missing are the stories behind all of that, and we're missing the human element. So facts are important, they're absolutely critical, but they don't leave the same emotional impact as stories do. That's how we are wired. We're wired for stories.
Exactly.
Right.
And not only that, I think that no one could argue with me sharing my personal truth.
Absolutely.
If I'm a Muslim Arab and I share that I study in university, no one could say that's not true. Israel doesn't let Muslims study in universities. Listen, you can't argue with that. And in a postmodern world where facts and truth is
conflated.
Exactly. Then we really feel that this is where we should go, and we see the power of it. We see how people are touched by these stories and how it makes them challenge their opinions and their misconceptions. So we really hope to continue doing it. Yeah.
Well, that's incredible. Let's start. Can I just, before Fuad, I'll start with you, but maybe everybody can just introduce themselves, so that, because obviously this is radio, so now we've got to imagine people not in studio with us and trying to get a sense of who is in a studio. I just want to introduce you to the three people besides Yifat who are here, and then I'll just chat to them individually.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having us. I am Fuad Ahmad. I am an Arab Muslim citizen of Israel. I am from the city of Tamra in central Galilee. I study political communication and political science in the Hebrew University of Jerusalem.
Oh, wow.
And now I work in the public diplomacy and strategic communication, and also make lectures in Israel and abroad about the Israeli society and the Arab community in Israel, because until now a lot of people didn't know about the groups or communities that live in Israel side by side with the Jewish community.
Do you think there's I'm now just changing my whole strategy because now we're talking. Do you think there's been a very deliberate attempt to silence the stories of people like yourselves, who is a Arab Muslim Israeli living a life in Israel? Is your story not told?
I think there is a lot of success story from the Arab society in Israel, but I think the international media or communication want to so put the focus about the negative news about Israel, and didn't sharing a lot of positive things that happen in the daily life in Israel. In the daily life, we have a lot of emotional things. We work together, Arabs and Jewish. You can see us in the education, in universities, in hospitals, and everywhere. But you can see in the international news, they didn't share about this daily life. They share just if there is a very little problem happen between Jewish and Arab, you can see all the media focus about this. But they didn't focus about a more positive thing that happen every day between the Jewish and the Arab reality.
In a way, that does a tremendous disservice to the Muslim Israeli society, because it really almost removes you from the international press, because your story just doesn't get told.
Yes, and I can share that I've been in UK and Europe, and until now also the European one, not just the Arab world, they didn't know about the Arabs Israeli, and they didn't know that there is up to 2 million citizens of Israel Jewish state. There are from Arabs, Muslims, Christians, Bedouin, Cherkessian, and yes, it's very important to share about this and talk to this and take every opportunity to share about us.
What has been the reaction here in South Africa?
Until now, it's very positive and surprised, like everywhere. But yes, this is the purpose, to know about us and just to share the reality. There is a lot of challenging in Israel. Yes, there is a lot of things that not perfect, but side by side, there are also a lot of positive things that happen.
Well, it's a society.
Yeah.
No society is perfect, and Israeli society is no different. In fact, maybe there are more complexities given the situation there. Have people in South Africa that you've encountered been surprised about your own identity? Or has this been, the people that you've spoken to, is this something that they've known about in theory?
The most majority of the people in his mind that the state of Israel is a fall of Jewish revolution, and there is Arabs in Gaza Strip and West Bank and East Jerusalem. They didn't know that into Israel states, side by side with the Jewish, there is the Arabs community. So there is the maybe the problem that there in his image that the Arabs is not into the Israeli states. They think that there is an like I don't have to explain that, but they imagine that there is the Jewish just in Israel border and the Arabs is into the next border. They didn't know that also into Arab into Israel state there are also a very diversity community.
Well, as you said, 2 million. There are 2 million.
Up to 2 million.
Up to 2 million. So it's around about 20%.
21% from the Israeli population.
Let's chat to. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Maryam. And if Fuad was saying that people don't know about Arabs in Israel, people rarely hear about my story. I'm a Lebanese Israeli. My dad was a commander in the last army that fought Hezbollah on a Lebanese soil, the last Lebanese army. He was in the southern Lebanese army that funded by Israel, but it was a Lebanese army. And in 2000, when Israel withdrew from southern Lebanon, we had to flee our country because Hezbollah gave us two options. Either we get slaughtered in our beds because we are traitors, or we leave the country and never come back. And since then, we are exiled. But my community managed to integrate in the Israeli society. I feel very much Lebanese, very much Israeli. And from a very young age, I really wanted to change the Middle East to not only tell about my story that became a taboo in Lebanon and in the Arab world, but I wanted to share about the Christians of the Middle East, that we are also a minority that is disappearing. I also wanted to share about Israel from my point of view, and that's why my content in Arabic gets super viral, and I'm happy to say that it's having a huge impact to connect people, bridging people, just share the values we share in the Middle East and the beautiful diversity we have, instead of the division we only see and hate.
Yeah, it's so interesting because the Lebanese Christian population is, again, another one of those stories, the persecution, the impact,
the civil war.
It's one of those stories, again, that people just don't tell.
Exactly.
It's just almost, it almost
we have a lot of
disappears.
conflicts in the Middle East that no one share,
Yeah, because it doesn't suit a narrative.
Exactly, unfortunately. A lot of communities, a lot of Christians that being persecuted in many countries and no one talking about it. It's sad, and that's why I think that our voices are very important, not only to shed light, but also to take the narrative from hateful narrative to a bit of hope, a bit of... Because on the ground, as Fuad said, we really share life. Either you are Muslim, Christian, Jew, Palestinian, Israeli, Lebanese. Like, we have the same struggles.
It's so interesting because for most of my life here in South Africa, this is what we work towards. It doesn't matter if you're Jewish, Muslim, Christian. There's always shared things. We've all got the same mother because everybody's mother is impossible, and there's heritage around food and family, and I find there's so much that unites people in common. But there's such a deliberate attempt to rip us apart.
Yeah, 100%. And also I was quite surprised of how beautiful the community here in South Africa is. We've been to Cape Town, and you just see people from different backgrounds, from different religions, and they are all together, and it's really beautiful to see. But in the news, when I was researching a bit, I saw different reality. So it's beautiful to see how things on the ground are really different. And it's important that these voices try to not only should be amplified, but these voices that really fight the extreme narrative the press and some governments and some ideologies are trying to impose on us. So that's what we do.
It's so interesting. You've just actually inspired me because we talk about this, and Chai FM, and I write a lot, but actually it's what you're saying is it's these stories that need to fight for light. It's almost like we're underwater and we've just got to get to the light, because
and it's the best stories. The stories that are, they are beautiful stories. They are positive stories, and it's sad to see that sometimes no one cares about them because it's not sexy enough. Maybe it doesn't create fear. It doesn't create
there's so much positive.
Yeah.
There is so much positive. In fact, you just reminded me, we haven't spoken to Jonathan El-Khoury, who's...
Yes, Jonathan is an amazing
We haven't
colleague.
spoken to him for quite a while. We need to get him back on, because it was, in fact, through him that I started to understand the plight of Lebanese Christians, what people have been through, and Jonathan is gay as well. So there was that added element of persecution that he was dealing with.
Of course.
And these are the stories, because this brings a complexity. It shows the complexity. Otherwise, if we read it in our press locally, it's Israel attacking Lebanon. Even Hezbollah hardly gets they hardly get a mention.
It's crazy to me because the war is against Hezbollah. We know this, and there is actually a very strong public discourse that's happening right now in Lebanon that is very supportive of the Lebanese government, very anti-Hezbollah. People are sick of wars. They are sick of foreign agendas that hijacked the country. So as a Lebanese and as an Israeli, that for the first time in years, the Lebanese government and the Israeli government are actually having a direct negotiations right now that hopefully will lead into a peace agreement.
Can you imagine how wonderful that?
This is the dream. This is the dream.
That is the dream. Right. Let's chat to Havtam Layo.
Hello. Good morning,
Good morning,
everybody. My name is Havtam. I'm Ethiopian-born Jewish Zionist. I work in marketing, and I also do activism in Israel. I have a program that I co-manage that helps Ethiopian women get into political and social roles.
And you said you were born in Ethiopia?
I was born in Ethiopia, yeah.
Is that not unusual for somebody of your age? I would have thought it's already your... Okay, now I'm going to get myself into such a mess.
Yeah,
Ignore that because you're going to... because now I'm discussing age.
I'm not that young.
You are that young. For sure you are. The Ethiopian story is, again, one of those stories that are magnificent but also complex. It is the preservation of culture is something that I love because I've seen it starting to become more popular in Israel and then, of course, around the world. But it's also got its complexities. Mm-hmm. How do you showcase something that, and I guess it's all of these stories that are both beautiful but difficult. Mm-hmm. There's good, but there's struggles. There's so much to it.
Okay, so I feel like first thing, as a person that is very much involved in activism in Israel, I think that I have a responsibility to be a part of the conversation about Israel, because one of the main things that pushed me to start talking about Israel was when I saw a post at the start of the war by an Ethiopian American talking about the life of Ethiopian Jews. And this is a woman that doesn't speak Hebrew or Arabic, that have never been to the Middle East, and especially not Israel. You're trying to tell my story. And that was the moment that I said, okay, obviously our story is complex, but we are Israelis. Do not try to look at us as the community as something different, because the conversation around it is like, oh, you guys shouldn't support Israel. We are Israel. What do you mean?
Love the arrogance. I love the arrogance of actually telling people what they should or shouldn't support.
Yeah, and I think that it's also, I see it also towards black people in general. Black people shouldn't be right-winged, or black people shouldn't support Israel. No, every black person have the rights for his own opinion. Stop telling black people what to do, and especially do not try to tell my story when I know better than you, trust me. And when I post content online or tell my story, people tell me, no, she's a Mossad. No, she's making stories.
Of course.
She's not, that she's not that black. She's probably like, she's adopted, maybe she's convert. And
so even your blackness is not real blackness.
You're
not black
okay
enough
when you're Jewish.
Right, it's exactly.
It's okay to be racist towards black people if they're Jewish. That's how it works nowadays.
So it's actually quite unbelievable. But this is the world that we're living in, right?
Yeah.
We've almost come to accept this. Mm-hmm. What's been the reaction to you as a black person here in South Africa?
Oh, I've received nothing but love. Also, I went to a few churches and few schools, and people really want to hear. People want to understand. They've been told by the media and by the government stories about apartheid, and just the two people next to me on the right are very good proof that the word apartheid should not be used anywhere near Israel. And when I was at the church a few days ago, I told them that as a black person, it is very important for me to fight that word being used against us, not only because I'm Jewish, but because I'm black. And, you're using people's trauma and history, and you're undermining their trauma 100%. By using this in Israel, when black people can be voted and vote and go to universities, and like Arabs can be voted and vote in Israel, and they can get educated and they can work at any job. And when you're using the word apartheid and genocide when referring to Israel, you're undermining people's worst trauma, and this is one of the main things that I'm here to do.
It's deeply offensive, actually, as well, yes. I think, to South Africans who have a very, very serious history of abuse and persecution, and now we just take the word and apply it to something else for political gain, and that is difficult. I want to come back to a question for Fuad from some of our actually a few people are asking, how is your activism within this space, how is it received by your family and community?
First of all, my father is originally from Cairo, from Egypt, who comes to Israel in the 19th, and my mom is from the north of Israel. So I educated in my family that my father from the first day he come to Israel, he peace activist and want to strengthen the relations between the Arabs and Jewish in Israel and between the Israelis and the Middle East and Arab world. So
Wow,
yeah,
that is amazing.
and I grow up and see him to working about this and also assist my Arab community with the Israeli government and member of the Knesset, and we until now working with politicians in Israel to assist with them with the Arab society, and also we established an organization called Sadat Begin for Culture and Peace, and I assist him in this association to make to strengthen the relations between Arabs and Jewish more, and also to share our realities and our what happened in Israel to the Arab world, because Maryam, maybe you will share now a lot of the Arab world until now didn't know a lot of information about Israel, and there is very interested about what happened in Israel, and we should also share a lot of information that didn't share in the regular media. So, and also because my father is Egyptian, and this is a very special story that this is what I also want to share, that in Israel everyone have the opportunity to success. If you want to success, anyone can control you. You can doing what everything you want. And I want also to share that I study in the Hebrew University, and my first position was to work in the president office. I'm an Arab Muslim, worked with two presidents, the president Reuven Rivlin and the currently one Herzog.
Wow.
Yeah, and after that I established the Arab division in two important situations, the Hebrew University and also the Ministry of National Security, who are responsible about the police and a lot of authorities. And this is my story, not just for me, but also for a lot of successful Arabs community. What I want.
Share that.
Yeah.
Actually, this is exactly what Fuad was saying, that people now they are more curious in the Arab world about what's going on in Israel, not only in war concept. People really want to see how people live in their daily life, how Arabs are treated. Can an Arab be a Knesset member, which they can, obviously.
Sure.
So these interesting stories are being shared on social media, and stories like mine and Fuad, it's not something that, like, if a couple years ago it was something that would shock people, I feel like today there is more
starting to become
humanizing
known.
Israel beyond the conflict and beyond the wars that we are going through every couple years, unfortunately. So it's really like a perfect timing to do this, and this is why our voices are even more important than before.
Incredibly important. I can just tell you that our listeners are, I would say, 50% Jewish, 50% not Jewish. Just hearing, some people already know this, some people don't know this, but just hearing this directly from people who live this experience is so incredibly
It's
powerful.
also important, in my opinion, that us as minorities, we are not quiet, we are active. And I think that this is the spirit in Israel. Everyone is active. As Ahmad said here, like, she saw something and she couldn't be quiet about it. She wanted to do this. So I feel like this is how we grow up in Israel. We are so active and we want to change all the time. It's kind of like tikkun olam for the Jewish people. It's crazy. It's like, everyone want to change. Everyone want to be active. And if you are active and if you really want to make a change, you can do it in Israel.
There's an opportunity. Havtam, if there's one message you want to get across to people here in South Africa, what is that message?
Get educated, read, create dialogues with Israelis, do your best in finding the truth, and don't let other people rewrite your history and use your trauma as a pawn in their game.
Love that. And Fuad, your message?
I want to everyone to come to experience the real reality in Israel, because until now everyone who visit Israel and we meet in South Africa, he have a really another another opinion, because he come and see everything we talk. It's not a slogan, it's the reality, people. And everyone who come visit Israel, he can say that this is not slogans, this is the reality. And I hope everyone come and visit Israel and see the reality. And the last thing I want to share is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, is one of the most complex conflicts in the world, not just in the Middle East. But it cannot be understood through simple slogans, like I say. To understand it, we must distinguish between Israel and the West Bank and Gaza, between citizenship and residency, and between security concern and political disagreements. Only by understanding that complexity can we have an honest conversation about peace.
So one of our listeners says we need to have a weekly Arab-Israeli voice on Chai FM, and I think that is a genius idea. In fact, we're going to keep all of your numbers because consider yourself. We'd love to keep your voices alive.
Yeah, we can continue also when we come back to Israel and to continue to share what happened to your audience.
That will be great. That will be absolutely fantastic. We do need to leave it there. I could carry on for ages, but we do have another interview in the next few minutes. Thank you guys for traveling all of this way, for chatting to us, and just doing all the amazing work you are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.